I hope we were all educated with the last webinar we had, when we had Olamide Oladele, right? I hope we're all educated. How was the webinar? Can you rate it? Can you use your comment section? How was the webinar? How was it? What did you learn? Were you able to, move ahead or go forward with the things that you learned during the webinar? Please let me know. Make use of a comment section. Just let me know how the webinar was and how you've been able to, use the knowledge that you learned during the webinar. That was April edition, because this is May edition. So yeah, I was saying that I remember vividly that I used to say that my first interview ever, was a mess, and that's because I wasn't prepared. I just finished service year. I was in search of a job. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know what navigating your career was. I just wanted any job, anything, because I just wanted to leave my parents' house and I just wanted to earn. I wanted money, if you know what I mean, which was the wrong motive anyways, but I didn't know, I didn't have the right idea at the time, and then that was just what I felt was necessary. So I remember I was shuddering, I was stammering, I was not confident. As a matter of fact, now the guy interviewing me, right, he was strict. God, he was not even smiling. If you know me too well, I smile a lot. Like, I just smile and open up my teeth too. Anyways, let's continue. Yeah, so I was even trying to use the smile tray, because I get the comment a lot that I have a nice smile. I was trying to use that tray so that this guy won't ask me too many questions, but no, it wasn't even looking into my eyes. Like, it was right in front of me. A camera was in front of him also, so it was like he was recording me and was looking into the camera. I was not even looking at me. I was so scared. I was terrified. I've never felt unprepared in my entire life, trust me. So I said to myself after then that, no, Sunshine, this is going to be the last time that you ever feel like this. Right, the location, it was in Ogba at the time. Ogba, if you know where Ogba is, Ikeja Ogba Air Access. I intentionally didn't take a vehicle immediately. I worked. You know what I did? If you know me well, I love food. I needed to go to a restaurant, eat, and just because I know that there's no way they'll call me back for this job. I failed woefully, sincerely. Every question I was asked, everything was woeful. It wasn't nice at all. So after then, getting to know and the right thing to do, and then hearing people telling me that they are not passing their interview, they are going through a lot answering questions in an interview, I decided to say, let's have this webinar where we talk about interview tricks and tips, just basic things, because sincerely we can't finish all of it in 30 minutes. So I'm just going to tell you basic things on how to pass your interview. So I get the comments that I touch my face a lot. Trust me, it's not intentional, right? I'm going to work on it. I'm going to work on it more. So let's start with interview tips and tricks. First of all, your physical appearance. Your physical appearance matters a lot. I mean, your physical appearance matters a whole lot. You need to dress modestly, beautifully, or handsomely. You need to dress. Now, I'm not saying dress to kill. I'm not talking about the AMVCA kind of dressing. I'm just simply saying that you should dress nice. You need to learn to dress nice. Dress nicely. Spray some cologne. Like, smell nice. Sincerely, for ladies, I would recommend that I would advise that you dress maybe with your blazers and your pants. Why? Or a corporate gown. Why? For guys, I would advise that you are on your shirt and your pants, or your blazers and your pants. Now, your hair for ladies should be well packed. It should not be flunked. Like, if you're on short wig like mine, you could do something like this, or you can even tuck this in. It should not be like scattered. You shouldn't wear something too bulgy. Anything that will cover your face is a no. Like, sincerely. Why? Because interviewers have a lot of CVs they are reviewing. They have so many CVs that they are reviewing, so they are looking for every slight opportunity to cut you out. I've been in these shoes before, trust me, and I'm being honest. So there was a particular time where I had a lot of CVs and I needed to interview all of these people. Sincerely, any little mistake, we just need to cut people out, because it felt like we had so many people. So interviewers are looking for opportunities to cut you out, because they have a lot of CVs that they are dealing with. So if you are not looking nice, if your appearance is not nice, spray some cologne. Trust me, perfume, like be perfumed, smell nicely. And when I mean smell nicely, I don't mean you should choke your interviewers with your presence, like your aroma. I don't mean, there are certain perfumes that are very, very strong. I don't mean you should have a strong scent, right? Just something middle, smell nicely, sincerely, because if you choke your interviewer, you might be asked to excuse them. So yeah, your shoes for ladies, go on heels or flats, right? What you shouldn't do, like a no is for you to go on sandals or like heels that is too long, like extravagant heels. Don't do that, please. You're not going for an award night, you're going for an interview. You're not going for a date, you're going for an interview. You're not going for Owambe, you're going for an interview. So basically, yeah, your physical appearance matters a lot. Just look nice. That's the best I can say. Look nice and look so nice. Like, just try to look so nice. Yeah. Okay. Looking nice. This is the trick about looking nice. It leaves an impression on your interviewer. Looking nice leaves a very good impression. As a matter of fact, there's a kind of looking nice that you can look that will make your interviewer ask you lesser questions. Imagine you looking nice and then your interviewers are just like, oh wow, you look nice, and you're like, thank you, and then you just give your nice smile and all of that. Where are you from? That where are you from question is one of the best question ever, because that like opens up a very nice conversation. Will I call it conversation, or I'll call it a gist? It just opened up a nice conversation that is very good, and then you just keep reporting. Trust me, I've had people say that their interview was so easy and they didn't even ask tough questions. The trick behind this is perhaps the person's aura was just so good. The person's appearance, physical appearance was so good that just makes the whole atmosphere, environment, all with positive vibes and all, if you know what I mean. So that is that. First, I cannot overemphasize that you should look nice. Don't look too extravagant. Okay, that is the first thing. Your physical appearance matters a lot. Now let's go to your mental preparation. Your mental preparation, you need to learn to go through the company's profile before your interview. It is very important that you go through the company's profile before your interview. Check the companies. There is no company without a website or a social media page. So you need to learn to check the company's core values, the company's profile, the company mission, vision, the about of the company. That is always on their website. So you need to learn to go through all of that. It is very essential. One of the things that will help you with is going to prepare you with certain questions that you will be asked. Okay, I think so sorry. All right, so it's going to help you with certain questions that you will be asked. Questions like what is let me see, I wrote some questions down, please hold on. Okay, certain questions that, why do you choose to apply for this job? Why do you choose to apply for this job opening? Or how does your values and goals align with the company? Now, how will you know how your values and goals align with the company when you don't even know the company's values, goals, vision, mission, core values, etc., profile, the company's achievement, what the company is doing at the moment? Say, right? I know it is so easy to just dump your CVs anywhere on LinkedIn or on any job opening, but if you get to have an opportunity to be called for a first stage interview, give it all, give it your best shot. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I had and it was a video interview. Funny how I had this interview about years ago. How many years ago now, Sunshine? 2021. That was like 3 years ago. I needed this. I wanted to switch job at the time, right? So and location at the time. So I saw this perfect job opening, and I applied for it. I'm not going to tell you the company, but the pay was at least way better, like doubled. The pay was doubled the pay I was receiving at the time. So I was like, okay, this is my best shot. And I know that that particular job is quite competitive. I know that there are a lot of people that apply for that particular job. So what I did was I searched the company. Oh, you know that there is this stage where the when that's before your interview, when applying for the job, the companies, most companies will ask you questions like, why do you want this job, etc., etc. I made sure my CV was well tailored. Funny how I had little experience in that job role, and I bombarded them with my values and how it aligns with the company, and voila, I was asked for an interview. And when it was a panel interview. I think there was like a lady and then 2 guys. They asked me questions and I was able to answer, and right there they even told me the salary, and then they would love me to resume immediately. It was like a miracle. It's just that funny how the particular state they were, I didn't see myself in that state. I didn't want to go to that particular state because it will cost me accommodation. It will cost me a whole lot of expenses, and then the company was not ready to put in all of those expenses. They even tried. They told me that, okay, this is let's assume that the salary for the role is 100,000, like for example. Okay, so they said they were willing to pay 150, but then I mean, it's not like they are going to pay me full front for me to get myself a rented apartment or something. So I couldn't take the job, but I was so glad that I had the job. So now the thing is, passing an interview, it boosts your morale, it boosts your confidence. Even though you end up deciding that I'm not going to go for this job, perhaps the salary is low for you, but it boosts your confidence, like I really passed this interview. So it gives you the mindset that there is no other interview that you won't be able to conquer. So do well to always check the company's profile, the company vision and mission. Again, I think I've said all of that, so let's just go ahead. Another thing, very very important, do not leave your interviewer without a question. So interviewers have a way of asking after they have a way of asking after the major question, like, do you have any question for me? Ask a question, right? And even if eventually they don't ask you sorry even if eventually they don't ask you if you have any question for them, you can raise it. Do you mind me asking a question? And then they'll be like, go ahead. So you should ask a question. And when I say ask a question, I don't mean that you ask, how much is my salary? No, that is the wrongest question you get to ask in the first stage interview. You should not be asking how much your salary is in a first stage interview. Am I saying your salary is not important? No, I'm not saying it's not important. But the first stage interview gives the first impression. So when you ask about your salary, it makes it look like you're too money conscious, that the major reason you want to work with the particular companies perhaps because of the salary, and that is a wrong impression. So myself as an HR personnel, if you say that in your first interview, that's the first no for me. I'm definitely going to the next candidate. Trust me, it's not the interviewer's fault. They want the best candidate for the company. So instead of how much is my salary, you can get to ask questions like, what is a typical career path of someone in this job role? What is a typical career path of someone in this job role? Or what is a typical day for someone in this role? Or what would you like to improve in the company? How do I come in? What is a career path? Yeah, I think I just said that. A typical career path for someone in this job role. Like, all of those questions, they give interviewers the impression that these candidates know what he or she is doing. And then they get to ask. Funny how it's not all interviewers that even have the right answers to such questions. They might be like, oh, why do you ask? And then, let me take for example, if you're asking the question of what is a typical day of someone in this job role like, they might be like, oh, why do you ask? Okay, maybe you're going, the job role is perhaps a customer support representative, and then you're asking what is it. They might tell you that, oh, okay, this person pick calls, this person saw clients complaints and all of that. I believe the role should have been indicated, but you still you can still ask, okay, does the person get to have rest, etc., etc. You're trying to get to know the company's culture. Is this the kind of company where you work your ass out? Is this the kind of company where they appreciate you taking a rest while working? You're trying to know the company's culture, and they themselves, they might feel like, okay, I think this person knows what he or she is doing, and that might give them the sport to want to be like, okay, I think I want to see this person a second time, which takes you to a second stage interview. Now, a second stage interview is the perfect time that you might want to talk about your salaries and etc. But trust me, asking about your salary for the first stage interview is a no. Most companies already state their salaries for the job opening, and it's not all companies that does that. Some other companies, they don't state it. I think I've said this over time, that if you're interested to know, okay, I was giving you the instance of the company I got interviewed for the last time. So when I wanted to know the typical salary range of that company, what I did was to chat their employees, similar role employee with similar roles that I'm being interviewed for. I chatted them on LinkedIn, and then the lady told me a salary at the time. I think she was in Abuja, right? So she told me, oh, she's working in this particular company with that same role in Abuja, and this is a salary. However, she told me that the salary is based on negotiation. Like, if you're coming from a company with a higher salary, your company is definitely going to be higher. And I was like, okay, great. And then that gave me all of that boosted my confidence, right, for the interview. So never leave your interview without asking a question. Asking a question gives them the impression that you really know what you're doing. So yeah, another thing is, while communicating with your interviewer, be confident. Look into their eyes. Come on, they are not monsters, they are humans like you. Funny how most of them, you might even be older than them. So, like, why should you be scared? Have that confidence. Don't be scared. Like I told you, my first interview, I was so scared, and that was what pulled me up. I can never forget that day. Sincerely, my first interview, I can never forget it, because it was the fear. I had fears. I don't even know where the fears was coming from. Maybe because nobody prepped me before, and I really wish someone told me how to do it. Maybe I would have done it better. But unfortunately, I didn't have anyone to tell me, oh, Sunshine, you could do this, you could do that. Alright, so be confident, right? Even if you're making mistakes, come on, be confident about it. They might not notice. Do you think it's every time you're talking that they're even listening? It's not all HR personnel that are serious. If it's a one-to-one question, right? It's not all HR personnel that are really intelligent and serious. Trust me, I mean no offense to HR personnel out there. And if it's a panel discussion, they might be looking for the next question to ask, but they might be thinking about another. So even if you perhaps don't make mistakes, I'm not saying that you should make mistakes, but be confident. Like, be confident. There is a fire in my eyes. Look into them. Okay, Debbie. No, trust me. Don't let anybody make you scared. Be confident. There is nothing. Interviews are nothing. I'm not saying it because I've had a couple of them, but interviews are, sincerely, they are nothing. Depending on the company, most of the time interviews are just like gist. But if you kind of meet me, an HR personnel like me, I can be very straight in interview, because I'm not there to joke. I'm not there to joke, and then I'm not there to make you laugh. Personality differs. However, it doesn't mean that you should not be confident. Like, be confident. Look into their eyes, Debbie. Look into their eyes, sincerely. If you see fire there, then tell fire to pop out from your eyes also. Alright, that's on the lighter end. Anyways, but be confident of yourself and keep a positive attitude. If you're being asked any question, take for example, oh wow, we have a few minutes more. If you're being asked any question, you could use an example. Like, take for example, I remember there was a particular time I was in an interview, and they asked me they asked me a question, a psychological question, like, if you're being asked to do 3 tasks and they were assigned by 3 different supervisors, how would you manage it? How would you prioritize this task? That was the question that I was being asked. And I didn't know how to answer. Now here is another trick. If you're asked the question, right, and you don't know how best to answer the question again. It's either you say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. When you say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get that, you already know that you heard the question. Use the little seconds that the interviewer will use to, say the question again, to think about how you're going to answer the question. So it's either you do that or you ask the question again. What I did was to ask the question again. For example, okay, all right, if I should get you correctly, you mean if I'm asked if I'm assigned 3 tasks by 3 different supervisors, what will be my priority in achieving those things? And then they can be like, yes, that's what I said. You'll be like, oh, okay. If I'm asked these 3 tasks, the first thing would be, from there you're already getting your footing to the right thing to say. And trust me, you might not be totally correct. Like, let me take for example, I've been in an interview before, and then I was asked my pet peeves. When I mean pet peeves, like my turn off, like something I can't take. And I said it there that, okay, I don't like it when people are rude, so I don't think I can take when people are rude. And then they laughed. Hey, good. I wish I understood that laughter then. And then they laughed. When they laughed, it gave me like calm. I was a bit calm, like I was fidgeting at the point, so I was just calm. They were like, why don't you like it when people are, what if your supervisor is rude? I said, of course, if my supervisor is rude, if you're someone that is rude, I would know how best to work with the person. And I rephrased it, and then I said, I wouldn't like if someone is rude to my supervisor. They're like, oh, that's nice. And I was like, okay, it's just psychology. Trust me, it's just psychology. I don't think there is any question that you won't be able to answer. Trust me, you just need to be calm about it and really know how best to answer the question. And you can also do this. Remember that the last webinar we had, Olamide said the same thing. He said we should always prepare to answer different questions in interviews. I remember he said that he was being asked certain questions about the banking sector, but then there was a particular question he wasn't able to answer, and that was the governor of CBN at that time. And trust me, me and current affairs, we are like left and right. I don't like current affairs. I was a science student, so thank God I never liked current affairs, because if I was in that scene at the time, I might not know who the CBN governor was, but it's something we should really know. And I asked myself, Sunshine, who is actually the CBN? Who is the CBN governor? Who can tell me who the CBN governor is? Maybe someone is going to win a gift right now. Anybody? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you see that it's not easy to answer certain questions because nobody is telling me. I'm sure plenty of us are going to Google to check who the CBN governor is. Oh my god. Okay, the CBN governor currently is Dr. Olayemi, right? I think the former CBN governor was Emefiele, but the current CBN governor is Dr. Olayemi Cardoso. I think that should be October 2023. Yeah, October 2023, that was when he became the CBN governor. Now let's forget about the CBN governor making his money and go back to our interview tips and tricks, because definitely the CBN governor definitely passed interview at one point. Also, okay, yeah, so like I said, answer your questions with a smile and confidently. Make sure you answer your questions with a smile and confidently. Yeah, and I think the common last thing I'll say, the common question that you should always prepare for in an interview, and that common question is what people fail most. People fail it. Okay, this is a trick, right? I'm just going to say that. Now I know we can't finish all of these interview tips and tricks today. Maybe some other webinars we're going to do it. Definitely not the next one, because there's something more juicy I want to introduce the next edition. Anyways, tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself and walk me through your CV are 2 different questions. So when an interviewer asks you, tell me about yourself, the person is asking about your values and goals. But when an interviewer asks you, walk me through your CV, you can now go, okay, when an interviewer asks you what makes you your CV, you can go, my name is this, that my name is Mercy Sunshine Adekunle. I finished from the prestigious University of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology. I had a degree in marketing. I have experience in this, I have experience in that, I did this there, my project was this and that, etc, etc. But when I ask you to tell me about yourself and you're starting with my name is Mercy Sunshine Adekunle, I finished from this, I finished from that, I mean, that is cock and bull story to me, because that is not what I want to hear. For me to ask you to tell me about yourself, I'm possibly with your CV, I know your name, because if I don't know your name, when you came in and walked in, I'm definitely going to be like, oh, good afternoon Sunshine, good afternoon Mercy. So you telling me your name again, right? Perhaps maybe if you only want to buy time, because I don't need it. So a typical way to answer tell me about yourself is, I consider myself to be a proactive and adaptable professional who excels in problem solving, delivering high quality, you know, something that keeps me wowing, that okay, I want to really know who this person is. Or you can start with as a career coach with over 5 years of experience, I've excelled in this, that keeps me, well, okay, yeah, I really want to know who this person is. That is a proper way to answer tell me about yourself. So please and please don't answer tell me about yourself with my name is Mercy. So there was a time I interviewed someone, and then I asked tell me about yourself, and the person started, my name is this, I finished from this, I come from a family of 5, I'm the third child. And I'm like, okay, maybe the person is going to fast track and move to the important thing. And then the person went, okay, I studied this, I finished school this particular year. And I'm like, so I mean, I've gone through your CV before calling you for an interview, so I don't want to hear all those stories again. I want to hear the things that are not in your CV. Even if they're in your CV, perhaps your career objectives. So don't get me bored. Don't get me bored with how many you are in your family. Who cares? I'm sorry, but I don't care about that. I won't see now. Okay, I need to make this straight. Every interviewer is looking for the best interest for their company. They're looking for the best interest. When I mean the best interest, they're looking for a valuable candidate. No, if you know me, you know that I'm always after value. So if you're not bringing something to the table, if you're not marketing yourself as someone valuable, trust me, you're not getting the interview. Only miraculously, of course, if miraculously, right? Oh, connection with Nigeria. So you need to go prepared. Don't go for an interview like you're going to the kitchen to prepare food. No, like you need to really go prepared for an interview. All right, so I think that will be the end of our live. I mean, it's already way past 30 minutes. If you have any questions, you could just type in. I'm going to give like 5 minutes. No, this is 10, so 5 minutes to answer anyone with any question before we end this live. So I believe we've been able to learn one or two tips and tricks of interview. Now these tips and tricks are not just for Nigerian purposes. You can use them anywhere, because you can even use them for your maybe video interview. You can have a remote job that is not in Nigeria. So all of this will definitely help you also. So do we have anyone with any questions and etc and etc and etc? Let me see if there's something. Is there something I would maybe like to say? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that if you are going for a physical interview, it's good to go early. It's good to go early. Give yourself 30 minutes before the interview time. Like if you have an interview for 9 a.m, it is wise to get there 8:30. My dad will even say 1 hour, and I'm like, man. All right, so but 30 minutes is fair. 1 hour, it's up to you, but 30 minutes is definitely fair. I remember my dad can be correct too, because the last interview I had, but let's say the last interview I had, no. Let me say the second interview I had in my life, because I've only had 3, or should I say 4 or 5? But they are not, all the 5 interviews were not all job interviews, visa interview, maybe other interviews, but not job. But job interviews I've had 3. So the second interview I had, I got there 40 minutes to the time. It was 10. The interview was for 10, and I got there about past 9, like 9:20 thereabout. And to my utmost surprise, in Nigeria, they asked me to come for the interview 9:30. Like, the panels were already ready, and I was not like, why did I come here early? Now, I love to go early. One of the things I do now, let me tell you my personal trick. When I get to an interview, when I get to the location, the first thing I ask for is the restroom, because I'm probably sweating, right? Maybe from locating the particular place. I'm probably sweating, I'm probably fidgeting. I love to go to the restroom, and I'm not going to the restroom to urinate or anything like that. I just want to prepare myself, adjust my body, tap in my powder, my wet lips, touch up my hair, spray my cologne, and then all of that. Is good to do all of that. All of that just makes me prepared, like, okay, yeah, sunshine, now you're ready. After then, I go to perhaps the waiting room. I plug in my earpiece and I listen to music. That is, I'm not okay. If I have enough time, I can be listening to music and be going through the possible answers that I know I'm going to respond, like possible questions I'm going to respond to. I go through them and all of that. But if I know that I don't have time, I just listen to music, because I don't want to be tensed. When I'm flipping my notes and checking all of that, I can be tensed. But when I'm listening to music, I'm just like, okay, sunshine, you got this. All right, so I can see that none of us have questions. So thank you for joining 30 times 12 May edition interview tips and tricks. Watch out for June edition. Flyers are definitely going to be coming out the first week of June. So again and again and again, Mercy Sunshine Adekunle. I'm a career coach, and this is 30 times 12 career series. 30 times 12 career series is a 30 minutes every month, speaking about things that helps us in our career. Last month we spoke about navigating your career path, and then I think we've been on that for like months, and then this month we spoke about interview tips and tricks. Thank you again for joining this live. See you next month. Bye.